looking at May-June 2019, paper 1. So our first topic here is vocabulary. So our instructions say each sentence in this section has one underlined word or phrase. Choose from the 4 suggested answers the word or phrase which is closest to opposite in meaning to the underlined word or phrase. So it means that based on our sentence what's underlined, we need to select a word that is opposite in meaning. So you could pause here, get your answers, and then we'll correct. All right, so number 1, we found her appreciative of the help that we had given her on this matter. So you have appreciative of. If you're appreciative of something, you're grateful for it. We need the opposite of that. So if we are ungrateful, we will be option C, which is ungrateful. Yeah. Number 2, their actions show that they were firm in their rejection of the new law. So rejection, if you reject something, you turn it down or you decline it. So you want the opposite of that, which will give us option C, which is acceptance. Yeah. Number 3, constructive criticism is neither appreciated nor encouraged by some of our peers. So criticism that's constructive is one that's positive or helpful. So again, we want the opposite. So that will give you option B, which is negative. All right. Going up here to number 4, we have, they always displayed a lackadaisical approach to their studies, so no one was surprised at the results. So lackadaisical, that would give us the meaning of like careless or lazy. So the opposite of that, we know for a fact we won't have like option D, C, or B, not careless, calm, or keen. We will have option A, which is keen, right? So keen will give you that meaning of sharp or determined, so that will give you the opposite of lackadaisical. And last one, number 5, as a result of the available evidence, the accused was apprehended and no further action was taken. So apprehended, if you're apprehended, you're like captured. So opposite of that will give you option B, which is released. So next items we have here fall under sentence completion. So like a fill in the blanks. So instructions say each sentence has either 1 or 2 words missing. Choose from the 4 options the word or pair of words which best completes the meaning of the sentence. So key thing here, you have which best completes. So it means that you might have some options that could possibly fit into the sentence, but there's going to be one option that's the best there based on what's taking place. So you pause, get your answers, and then we correct. So number 6, we have after 2 years of probation, he was something in the job because his employer found him to be an something worker. All right. So based on the sentence we have here, he was something in the job because of the kind of something worker that he is. So we need our options to link. So your first option here goes in your first empty space, and then the second, our words there go in the second empty space, right? So option here, answer will be option C. After 2 years of probation, he was confirmed in the job because his employer found him to be an industrious worker. So these two would link in terms of he will be confirmed in the job because he's an industrious worker. So industrious worker is somebody who's hardworking. So that would definitely link there. Number 7, when parents display a something for one child, the others are likely to feel something. The answer here will be option D. When parents display a preference for one child, the others are likely to feel jealous. So once you prefer one child over the other, that would definitely lead to jealousy. So that's why it's our best option. So number 8, something people are likely to be afraid to take risks in life. So the word we use here must describe people who are likely to be afraid to take risks in life. And those type of people will give us option C, which is cautious, right? Because a cautious persons, they are careful to like avoid potential problems. So they will definitely likely to be afraid to take risks in life. So nice. Going up here to number 9. The journalists were impressed by the something of the statesman whose speeches had a profound something on all who heard them. So look at what we're talking about with the statesman. They're impressed by the something of the statesman whose speeches had a profound, right? So a key word here to help you is like speeches, which will give you option B as your answer. They were impressed by the eloquence of the statesman because eloquence has to deal in terms of like a speech, right? And whose speeches had a profound effect on all who heard them. So these two would link very nicely to give us our best option here to complete that sentence. And last one for these items, number 10, We have, are you trying to something that all along he knew of the plot to oust the committee? So you have, are you trying to, option D, insinuate that all along? So are you trying to like imply or suggest? So that's our answer. So our next items fall under equivalent sentences, where the instructions say each sentence in this section is followed by 4 sentences, A, B, C, and D. Choose a sentence nearest in meaning to the original sentence. You read for all 4 options before you choose your answer, right? So for this one, we need to select the option here that's giving us the same meaning as the original sentence. So you pause, go through, get your answers, and then we correct. All right, so number 11. Much is being done to develop tourism in our country by providing good hotel accommodation and facilities. Our equivalent sentence here that will give us the same meaning as this will be option C. We are doing a great deal to boost tourism. So we are doing a great deal, give it the same meaning as much is being done, right? So what boosts tourism, which is the same as to develop tourism? By providing good hotel accommodation and facilities. So we have that there. Only thing that they didn't put in was like in our country, but compared to the others, right, they have incorrect information, but this one here is giving us the same meaning as what this sentence is saying. So nice. Number 12. So engrossed was he in his task that he did not hear his sister enter the room. So engrossed, so engaged in what he was doing that he did not hear his sister enter the room. So our option there for our answer will be option D. He was so preoccupied, right, with what he was doing. So giving us that meaning here, so engrossed was he in his tasks that he was unaware of his sister's entry, which will give it the same meaning as he did not hear his sister enter the room. So D is your answer. Going down to 13, we have John told his parents in no uncertain terms that he was going to university as soon as he left school. So our answer here will be option C, where it says John made it quite clear to his parents. So that quite clear will give you that meaning of in no uncertain terms. That when he left school, so he left school there, he will go to university, which we have there immediately, which will give you the as soon as meaning, right? So our sentence is saying the same thing. So option C is your answer. Number 14, the bright colors of the bird distinguish it from the others flying across the pale sky. The equivalent sentence here will be option D, where it says the bright colors against the pale sky. So you have the bright colors, then you have it's across the pale sky, made the bird, so you know we're talking about the bird, right? Stand out among those flying by. So to stand out, it distinguished it from the others flying across the sky. So answer D. And last one for equivalent sentences, number 15, we have, I cannot understand why you have done this since you tell me that Mark means a lot to you. Option A here will be your answer. Since Mark means a lot to you, so we have that part here, that Mark means a lot to you. The reason for your action, which will give you why you have done this, is puzzling to me, which will give you this part here, I cannot understand. If it's puzzling, it's confusing, so you cannot understand. So that's giving us our equivalent sentence. So another topic, our instructions say some of the following sentences are unacceptable because of inappropriate grammar, idiom, or vocabulary. Some sentences are acceptable as they stand. No sentence contains more than one inappropriate element. So for this one here, looking for grammatical errors, if there's any idiom or vocabulary errors there. So you pause, get your answers, and then we go through. All right, so number 16, we could reach the survivors neither by boat or by plane, and so we abandon our search as futile. So we have neither, we have or, and we have as, right? Our answer here will be option B. So you have neither, and then we have or. So once you have neither, you have to have nor with it, because it goes neither nor. Or if you have or there, you need either, right? So it's either or then you have neither nor. But why B would be our answer and not A is based on the meaning of our sentence, what's taking place. So it says that we could reach the survivors neither by boat or by plane, and so we abandon our search as futile. So you abandon the search, which means that you weren't able to reach the survivors, right? So you have that negative meaning there. So it needs to be, we could reach the survivors neither by boat, right? And then you have your nor by plain. So this was what your sentence was supposed to look like. All right. So would be over here. Instead of or, your answer was supposed to be no. Right? So good. Number 17, it says, I believe that if his attitude improves, his general performance will also improve. So I believe, attitude, performance, nothing is wrong with any of these. So our answer here is option D. There's no error in this sentence. Okay. Going down to number 18, she was not feeling well at the beginning of the journey, and sitting at the front of the car made her feel worse. So she was not feeling well. Once we're describing someone's health, we use the word well there, so that's good. And sitting at the front of the car, so verb continuous tense there, sitting, that's matching, right, with what's taking place. So she was not feeling well, and sitting at the front of the car, right, made her feel worse. So from the beginning to now, she's feeling worse there, so that use of adjective is good. So our answer here is D. There's no error in this sentence. Number 19. Overcome by fear, I ran past my home without realizing that I had done so. So I ran past without realizing, had done, right? A would be your error. We have I ran past. Now this past here is a verb, right? It's the past tense of to pass, like to go by something. But here, the past that we need needs to be the adverb, right? Which is describing how, like, where you ran past. So what you needed here, instead of P-A-S-S-E-D, you need P-A-S-T, right? So that was the error there. And last one for these items, number 20. The better of the two athletes claim never to have used the dangerous drugs found in his possession. So you have the better of the two athletes claim never to have used. The error here would be option B. What you have is a subject-verb agreement error. You have the better of the two athletes. So if you're saying the better of the two, you're talking about one of them, right? The one that's better. So because here you're talking about one of them, it means that your subject is singular. And a singular subject will take a singular verb. But this verb we have here, claim, is plural because there's no S in it. So what we're supposed to have was the word claims. So you needed to put an S there at the end to have the correct one. So B was our error. All right, so last topic here for this section 1 of this paper, we have vocabulary again, right? So instructions, each of the sentences in this section has one underlined word. Choose from the 4 options the word which is nearest in meaning to the underlined word. So you're looking for one that's nearest in meaning. So based on what's underlined, a word similar in meaning we need to find. So you pause, get your answers, and then we correct. All right, so number 21. It was impossible to rectify the error made by the computer since inaccurate information had been fed into it. So you want to find a word that's similar to rectify. So if you rectify something, you make it right, you fix it, or you correct it, which will give you option C, which is the correct. Number 22, we have the bank teller indicated that our account was dormant. So if your account is dormant, we are saying that it's inactive, right? No activity there is taking place within the account. So dormant, similar word in meaning, we have inactive. So good. Going down to 23. The news story revealed the squalor of the old prison cells. So squalor, that means something's like extremely dirty. So we have option D here as our answer, filthiness. The news story revealed the filthiness of the old prison cells. So we're going up to number 24. It says, a citizen is expected to show complete allegiance to his native land. So if you have allegiance, we're talking about loyalty. So the citizen is expected to show complete, option A, loyalty to his native land. And last one, number 5 for this vocabulary. For the first time in a decade, the company disclosed a deficit in its account. So once you have a deficit, you have like a shortage or a deficiency. And that meaning there would give you option D, which is shortfall. Now we go to section 2, where you have all the comprehension passages. So here we have a poem. Instructions, you read the following poem carefully and then answer items 26 to 33 on the basis of what is stated or implied. So you pause, read your poem, and then you look at your questions. Get your answers and then we'll correct. So number 26, there's a single kite, which is in line 1, left in the sky, most likely because. So why is there a single kite left in the sky? So you go to line 1 where we see it, always read around the line to get a sense of what's taking place. When a single kite is left in evening sky and I stand black against the saffron, pulling in the night covers, right? So the single kite left in the sky, most likely because the answer here will be option A, right? It is late. So you get that by when it says like in the evening sky, black against is saffron. So you have like a sunset there, it's getting dark, so it is late, right? So number 27, what aspect of the sky does the poet focus on? So again, in terms of the sky there, we're talking about in the evening sky, as I stand, black against is saffron, right? So what we're focusing on there will be the color of the sky, because that's the information that we getting. So 27, we have C as our answer. Going down to 28, of whom is the poet most likely thinking in the poem? An artist at work, an enemy in hiding, a lonely old man, or someone he or she loves? Option D would be your answer here. He's thinking of someone he or she loves. Because when you look at your poem, based on the descriptions, right? We're looking at the scenery, pulling in the night covers with a single thread, I think of you, right? When bats break a calm lake like scissors on a warm fabric, where a lone fisherman waits alone on the hill, I think of you, right? So he or she is looking at all of these things and is thinking of someone they love, right? So nice. Number 29, when bats break a calm lake like scissors on a warm fabric, which is in lines 10 to 11, is an example of. So you're looking for literary devices. So lines 10 to 11 is here. When bats break a calm lake like scissors on a warm fabric, that would be option A, a simile. Because why? We are comparing two things with the use of like. So you're comparing the bats breaking a calm lake to scissors on a warm fabric. So number 30, the poet speaks of each of the following except. So you're looking for which one the poet did not talk about. So A, a single kite that is flying. So we did talk about that. Line 1, when a single kite is flying. So that's there. So A is not our answer. B, a lone fisherman waiting. So we see here in line 12 where a lone fisherman waits. So that's there. Option C, bats breaking warm fabric. So we look for bats breaking warm fabric. That's what we don't have. So the poet speaks of all except option C. We have here in line 10, bats break a calm lake, but the bats did not break a warm fabric, right? So we just double check for option D, the hen's wings that are warm. We see that here when chickens search the warmth of a hen's wings. So that's there. So option C is definitely our answer. Go down to number 31. Which of the following literary devices is used in line 4? So let's see what line 4 is. Line 4 says black against the saffron. So you have this black here against the saffron, which is like it's an orange color. So what we're doing here is we are contrasting, right? Contrasting the black versus the saffron. So that's the literary device that was used. And last one, number 32. The poet's intention is to, well, second to last one, right? The poet's intention is to what? Describe nature, describe the sunset, tell us of the lone fisherman, or tell someone he or she is missing them, him or her. So D would be our option, answer. That's the intention of the poet there. We are telling someone he or she is missing him or her, because that's the prevalent thing that we are seeing. Looking at this scenery here, I think of you. Looking at these things again, I think of you there. So that's the intention of the poet. And last one, number 33, which word best describes the poet's tone? So reading the poem, which one of these would best describe the tone in terms of the attitude of how the poet is talking there? Bitter, serious, regretful, or nostalgic? So option D would be our answer, right? The tone of the poet there is nostalgic. So it's kind of like sentimental. We're thinking about things in the past, and that's definitely what we are doing there with all the I think of you. So D is our answer. So we're going now to our comprehension passage. So you read the following abstract carefully and then answer items 34 to 41 on the basis of what is stated or implied. So you're going to pause first, read your passage, understand it, and then we'll go to the questions. So these are your questions here. So you're pausing again, and now you're getting your answers, and then we'll correct. All right, so number 34, the mother's trust of a chin, which is in line 4, is done in. So what is this trust of the chin done in? So first, let's go and see where they said it and what's taking place, right? So you're looking at line 4, which is here. So let's read before and see what's happening. There had always been a fierceness in her. It showed in that angry, challenging trust of a chin when she issued an opinion, and a great one she had always been for issuing opinions. So a challenging trust of the chin, right? So let's look at our options. The mother's trust of the chin is done in, our answer here will be option C, defiance, right? That shows us her boldness, right? Her open to resistance. And that's in terms of the description of the type of person that she was, where she always said her opinions, whether it offended persons or not. All right. So C was our answer. So 35, the son cautioned his mother about telling people exactly what she thought because he was affronted by her arrogance, thought others would be offended, found her behavior aggressive, or was upset that she would not change, right? So let's go and see, okay, where did he caution her? So we could start from here. It says, I tell people exactly what's on my mind. She had always been fond of boasting. I tell them what I think, whether they like it or not. Often they had not liked it. She could be sarcastic to people in whom she detected evidence of the ignoramus or the fool. It's not always a good policy to tell people exactly what's on your mind. I used to caution her. So you see, he cautioned her here, right? So let's go back to see what the question is asking. The son cautioned his mother about telling people exactly what she thought because he, and our answer here will be option B, because he thought others would be offended, right? So he's telling her it's not always good policy to tell people exactly what's on your mind because it could be offended. Because if you look at what he said, often they had not liked it, right? So whether she tells them what she thinks, whether they like it or not, sometimes they were offended there. So that's why B would be our answer. He thought others would be offended. Yeah. So number 36, why does the writer choose the expression a formidable woman, which is in line 13 to describe the mother? So why does he choose this expression? So you go to say where he had that expression, line 13 will be here. And so she was a formidable woman, determined to speak her mind, determined to bend those who oppose her. In that time when I had known her best, my mother had hurled herself at life with chin thrust forward, right? So a formidable woman. Somebody who's formidable is usually like intimidating, but based on the information of our passage, right, he is not the one intimidated by her. So why he chooses the expression a formidable woman, right? If you look at the information around it, she's determined to speak her mind, determined to bend those who oppose her. What it does is option D, it emphasizes her strength, which he finds admirable, right? So 36, we have D. Number 37, what does in that time when I had known her best, line 14, say about the mother-son relationship? So line 14, we have here, so let's start from here, determined to speak her mind, determined to bend those who oppose her. In that time when I had known her best, my mother had hurled herself at life with chin thrust forward, eyes blazing, and an energy that made her seem always on the run. So what does that say about the mother-son relationship? In that time when I had known her best. So there's a time when he had known her best. She's saying that, okay, now he doesn't as much, right? So our answer here will be option A, they had grown apart, right? So 38, what literary device is used in lines 14 to 15? My mother had hurled herself at life. So let's go to the lines, starting from here. In that time when I had known her best, my mother had hurled herself at life with chin thrust forward. So this here will not be irony, it's not repetition, and it's not onomatopoeia. So our answer here is option B, the imagery, right? We're getting that image of the mother hurling herself at life, which is like throwing herself there, right? So we have that image of that in our mind. So that's the literary device we have, right? Going to 39, the behaviors the mother finds contemptible include, we have 1, timidity, 2, laziness, 3, cowardice, right? So which of these behaviors does the mother find contemptible? So we're looking, so basically like which one like she dislikes. So we find that at the end of the last paragraph here, right? So it says, Life was combat and victory was not for the lazy, the timid, the slugabed. So far we have lazy. So option 2 needs to be in our answer. We have timid. So we need option 1, right? And let's see if we have cowardice. So you have the slugabed, the drugstore cowboy, the mushmouth, afraid to tell people exactly what was on their mind, whether people liked it or not. So we have that afraid to tell. So that's giving us the cowardice meaning. So all 3, right, are behaviors that she finds contemptible. So D would be our answer. So 40, the incident of Thanksgiving shows the mother's own attitude to be one of. So let's see, where's the Thanksgiving incident? So we have it from here, right? Line 19. One Thanksgiving, she burnt herself badly when, running up from the cellar oven with the ceremonial turkey, she tripped on the stairs and tumbled back down, ending on the bottom in the debris of giblets, hot gravy, and battered turkey, right? So if you look at before as well, it says like she ran after squawking chickens, a knife in her hand, determined on the beheading that would put dinner in the pot. She ran when she made the beds, ran when she set the table. One Thanksgiving, she burnt herself badly when running up the cellar. So this incident as Thanksgiving, it shows the mother's own attitude to be one of hastiness, right? She's always on the run, always in a hurry. That's what hastiness is giving us. Number 41, the final sentence of the extract implies that the mother has, so the final sentence, which would be this here, right? So she ran, but now her running was over. So all the time in life, she's always running there, but now her running was over. So what that is showing us is option B, that she lost her physical strength. So she's no longer to be as hasty now, right? Her running was over, so she lost her physical strength. So we're going to our other comprehension passage now. Say pause to read, and then we go to the questions. So these are questions for this passage. So you get your answers, and then we correct. All right, so looking at number 42, it says the passage is primarily based on. So the passage is mainly based on what? Facts, opinions, statistics, or inferences. Our answer here will be A, right? This passage is primarily based on facts. They're giving us all this factual information about cameras, how it started, and the development of it, right? So A is our answer. So 43, the word principles, which is line 6, means the same as. So you go to line 6 to see how the word was used. So we have it here. So it says, it worked on the same principles as our camera today. Say principles, we have option D, is the laws or precepts, right? So it worked today on the same laws or precepts as the cameras today works on, all right? So we have number 44. The writer uses an exclamation mark at the end of paragraph 3, which is line 15, in order to. So paragraph 3 here, the end of it, line 15. There's a view from Nipsey's room, and it took 8 hours to expose. Right? So the writer uses exclamation mark to dispel any doubt in the reader's mind. So you want to make sure they know that this took 8 hours to expose. Number 45, we have the events of this passage are recorded in logical order, future tense, illogical order, or present tense, right? So it's not any future tense, it's not illogical, and it's not any present tense because we're going in terms of the history of how the camera started to now. So it's going in, it's presented in a logical order, all right? Number 46, according to the writer, modern photography took off, which is in lines 18 to 19, when? So when did modern photography took off? So you go to 18 and 19. So we have that here, right? Instead, he created the image by using chemicals. After his invention was announced in 1839, modern photography took off, right? And when it took off will be option C, where he made his discovery by using chemicals, because that's what we have there. Instead, he created the image by using chemicals. So good. And last one for this passage, number 47. Which of the following is the most suitable title for the passage? So based on the information we have, right, which one of these titles will represent what our passage is about? And the answer will be option D, the camera and its development. Definitely didn't talk about the artists, the inventions, the invention of the camera, the importance. We talked about the camera and how it developed from the first camera now to how it is now in today's society. All right. All All right, so this is our next passage. So you pause to read and then we go to questions. So these are the questions. So you get your answers and then we correct. All right, so number 48, the writer's use of the word brain, which is in line 1, is meant to. So you go to line 1 to see how they used brain, right? So you say there's an open request to try to find who is the brain behind traffic management. So you see a brain is in quotations there, right? Does anybody know? I've tried traffic branch, not them, highways, not them. So it's kind of being like sarcastic, right? This is an open request to try to find who is the brain behind traffic management. Because he's being sarcastic there, our answer will be option A. He's making fun of the decisions. All right. Number 49, when the writer repeats not them in paragraph 1, he implies that. So let's see when he's repeating not them in paragraph 1. Yeah, does anybody know? So he's asking, like, does anybody know who's the brain behind the traffic management in Palo? I have tried the traffic branch, not them. Highways, not them. Planning and development, not them, right? In fact, nobody wants to take responsibility for certain decisions and the mess that results. So based on the question, he repeats not them in paragraph 1. He implies that option C, no one wants to accept responsibility for the traffic situation. So by saying not them, nobody wants to take responsibility for it, which it even said there in the paragraph, right? So C is our answer. All right, so number 50, Stoke Street, line 7, Celestia Road, line 9, and Delano Street, line 7 can best be considered as. So assigned parking places for diplomats, examples to support the writer's case, prohibited streets for all drivers, or streets that attract a lot of attention. So let's see how it was used. So line 7, we're going to here, right? So it says, like, in fact, many people would charge for going the wrong way up a one-way street. Then suddenly it's back to a two-way and traffic for so. Same is true of Stoke Street, right? So you give like an example there and of that, and I was in Stoke Street. So then Celestia Road, which is in line 9. So we say, but the best is Celestia Road in St. John, which is Wrecker Haven. So again, we're giving like an example of what we're talking about, right? The traffic situation. And then Delano Street, line 17. So we go here. Then again, the two narrow streets in Palo allowing parking, try Delano Street off Abbey Lane. So again, using it as an example, right, to prove the point that we are trying to make about the traffic management. So that will give us option B as our answer. Best be considered as examples to support the writer's case. Line number 51, the writer's tone can be described as puzzled, resigned, sarcastic, or complimentary. So, you know, definitely he's not confused, not resigned, and he's definitely not complimenting anything, right? He's complaining. So C is our answer. He's being sarcastic. When you look at the tone of what he's using. Who is the brain behind traffic management? Traffic branch, not them. Highways, not them, right? So his tone is sarcastic. Number 52, the last sentence of the letter is similar to paragraph 5 because both of them. So we have the last sentence. So this is this here. No doubt a small man with a big, big car who has no name. And then we're looking at paragraph 5. So this is this paragraph here. Oh, there's an exception. If you have a Canadian High Commission sticker, you can park and the wrecker will not touch your diplomatic car. Maybe we can all become diplomats, right? So the last sentence of the letter is similar to paragraph 5. Why? Because both of them express disgust, right? He's disgusted at how unfair the system is. So you have here a small man with a big, big car who has no name. And then here he's talking about in terms of the diplomats, right? So he's expressing disgust. So nice. Going now here to number 53. The letter was most likely published in A. So where would this be published in? Definitely not a press release, not a tourist brochure, not a school magazine. It's a newspaper. Number 54. The author of this passage is most likely A. So who's this person writing, talking here, right? A motorist, a pedestrian, a traffic warden, or a government official. So definitely be option A, a motorist, right? So like the driver of a car, based on the passage, he has the knowledge of the roads, and what he's complaining about is in terms of the traffic there while driving. So he's a motorist, or she, yeah? Number 55, again, the small man suffers, which is in line 14, implies that the small man is often. So let's see how they use that. So you read around it. there are 4 major office buildings on this road, all of which provide underground parking for staff. So some, usually the lower paid, have to park elsewhere, and these are the persons whose cars the wrecker is taking away all day, every day. Again, the small man suffers, right? So he's implying that the small man is often, option B, disadvantaged. So last comprehension here, we have an advertisement. So you pause, read, and then we go to questions. So these are our questions. So you pause, get your answers, and then we correct. So let's see, number 56. According to the information provided, the main theme of the symposium is. So what is this symposium about? So you see the topic is adolescent health, right? The challenges. So C would be our answer. The theme of the symposium is adolescent health. So 57, which of the following groups is not a sponsor of the symposium? So we have here a list of sponsors, right? So you need to find which one of these is not a sponsor. So let's see, A, Ministry of Youth. So we have that there, they are sponsored. We have B, Ministry of Health. So when we look, we don't see Ministry of Health there. So 57, we know B is our answer because we have Conference of the Churches, that's there. And then the National Council of Drug Abuse, that's there as a sponsor, all right? So 58, which of the following words best replace symposium in the advertisement? So we have National Youth Symposium, right, 2019. So what is this? It's a conference, right? So B would best replace that word symposium. We have conference there. 59, how can those who want to participate register for the event? So basically how to attend, right? So to attend, we need to contact Yvonne Dalton at the Ministry of Youth. They give you the number for registration forms and other information, right? So that will be option A here, where we call the Ministry of Youth. That's what they said. And you speak to Yvonne, because we're contacting Yvonne at the Ministry of Youth, right? So definitely not B, because we're not talking about anything about Ministry of Education. Same thing with option C there, and not Ministry of Health. So these are definitely not it. So A is your answer. And last question, number 60. All of the following groups are specifically invited to attend except, right? So who are invited? So we have here like who should attend. So which one of these are not there? So you have A, youth groups. If we look here, it says members of youth groups. So they are invited. Then we have B, members of the public. We see here interested members of the public could attend. So not B. We have C, parents of young people. Nowhere here we said anything about parents, right? So C is our answer. So just to double check, D, doctors, nurses, other healthcare workers, they will fall under your healthcare professionals, all right? So we didn't talk about parents, so C was our answer. And that's the end of this past paper.